was there's a story from what today is this? 2 days ago. New Jersey lawmakers were having a press conference asking if the government could shoot one down so they can inspect it. So, like, I'm assuming they haven't shot one down if they're asking to shoot one down that day, you know? I hear something new that I don't know if it's even worth bringing up, but this is a new story going on. They said this might be what some of this has to do with. I don't even know if this is
missing radioactive
material.
Scroll up a little bit higher so I can see who put that up there.
There's a few people that have posted it.
Okay. Yes, I did see that. While looking at Nuclear Regulatory Commission alerts, one confirmed there's radioactive material that has gone missing on December 2nd, 2024 out of New Jersey.
I guess it was being shipped there, and it didn't make it. A container arrived damaged and empty.
Well, my understanding is these sightings started around November 18th.
Yeah, so I saw the November 20th, too, so I don't know if that makes it related. But
So we should explain to people that didn't listen to our first podcast why you're uniquely qualified to talk about this stuff. Could you just please tell people your background so they understand what you used to do and how you got involved in this whole UAP thing in the beginning.
Yeah, absolutely. So formerly trained aerospace engineer in college, joined the Navy immediately after with the hopes to go fly fighter jets for the Navy. Was successful in doing that, and I flew the F-18 Super Hornet for 11 years and 2 deployments, primarily operating off of Virginia Beach. And pretty standard career until about 2013 or so, when we came back from our deployment. We began to upgrade our radar systems. And when that happened, we put in essentially a much more powerful radar into our jet. It took about 8 months. So you might fly with a newer radar in the morning, maybe an older radar at night. And consistently, when we were flying with these newer radars, we were picking up a bunch of objects that were operating in our working area that we weren't seeing with the older radar. They were performing in strange ways. They would be stationary. They would be around 250 to 350 knots, kind of meandering around the area. Not really working together per se, but kind of clearly operating in the same vicinity as one another, right? So we weren't flying in formations necessarily. And we'd even see these supersonic as well, 1.1, 1.2 Mach, typically heading east. And we'd only see them over the water. We originally thought they were radar errors, right? Some kind of software glitch. But eventually we started to correlate these across other sensors, such as our IR FLIR system. Our missile systems would lock onto these. And we'd try to fly up to them to see them physically with our eyeballs. And when we do that, we wouldn't see anything. We'd come within about 500 feet of these objects. All our sensors are pumped into our helmet, augmented reality style. And it would tell us exactly where to look. And boom, we'd come right past this object and there'd be nothing there. We'd circle back around and then pick it back up on our sensors. It would be slightly displaced, but that was kind of the status quo for a few weeks until we had a near miss with one of these objects right at the entrance to our working areas. The pilot came back, canceled the flight, had a look of shock on his face, and described as a dark gray or a black cube inside of a clear sphere. And once that happened, we kind of had to come together as a squadron with the safety officer in our squadron and say, hey, okay, what's going on? This has kind of been rumor and conjecture, but we almost had a near miss here, almost lost an aircraft. Let's gather as much information as we can. As it turned out, there are 4 other near misses that had occurred in the past month that pilots were too uncomfortable to even report. And that really kind of kicked off the seriousness of this issue for us. And we started filing paperwork, safety reports, and hoping and expecting that this would get resolved in some way as, the proper people, whoever that was, got these reports and they could mitigate it in some way. But that never happened, at least from our perspective. So we essentially treated them as safety issues. We would avoid them. We wouldn't fly close to them. And then in 2015, we left to go do what's called a pre-deployment workup cycle aboard the USS Theodore Roosevelt. So we train like we play. You get the whole air wing there, 30 jets, 40 jets, and we're doing these very complex missions. And there were a lot of objects down there as well. They either followed us down there or they were already there. And
was there a lot of visual sightings of these objects, or is it just equipment?
A lot of visual sightings.
Was it the same sort of thing, a circle with a square inside of it?
Or solid spheres. some elongated spheres, kind of more tic-tac shape, if you will. And during that workup cycle, that's when we recorded what's now known as the gimbal and go fast video. And they almost had to shut that entire exercise down because there were multiple near misses while we were trying to do this. And this is a big deal. If they cancel that training mission, that means the people that are deployed essentially have to be there longer. They have to wait longer. So there's a lot of downstream effects. So pretty big deal to even consider canceling a training our training mission like this. So again, we filed it up. We didn't know what else to do with it, and we went back to our training and left on deployment. In 2017, a New York Times article came out. I was now an instructor pilot in Mississippi, and for the Navy still. And on front page of New York Times, lo and behold, there are the video of the gimbal and the go fast with the pilot's audio on there that we've heard now. And I'm like, holy shit, this is still going on. Massive deja vu, as you might imagine. And that I saw that as like a cry for help, essentially, that these videos now have been somewhat smuggled out. They're on the front page of New York Times. And
do we know how the gimbal or the go fast videos got leaked?
My understanding is that work was done partially with Lou Elizondo and Chris Mellon.